Welcome, 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 welcome. This is Ascension Evolution. I am Joanne Dunn. I just come in here and share my journey through my evolution process. And along the way, I've met some really, really, really cool people. Um, and people that I have not only grown to love, but that I call sisters, family. Oh, we got a little bit emotional, Stephanie. Um, and hey, Patty. Oh, Miriam's here. Yay. And so our beautiful Stephanie Gordon is one of those beautiful sisters. And uh, I'm so excited to be here talking to you today, Stephanie. Thank you for stepping up and stepping in and coming in and having a little chat with us today. So why are we here? Let me just do a little reintroduction as to why we're here. So I started seeing these like posts about the planets aligning in the sky, this kind of planetary parade. And most you'll know that I don't really know much about astrology. I haven't, it isn't a path that I've really went down. That's not to say I don't believe it. I just haven't really visited it. Although I've always looked at my star sign, right? And I very much relate to being a Pisces. So anyway, I started seeing all this information. I'm like, oh, this feels pretty big. Like this, there's something in this. And so I reached out to our Stephanie here. Stephanie has a beautiful business called Feather Destiny. And Stephanie does galactic astrology sessions called Galactic Feathers, you called them, right? Oh,
Yes.
Emma's here. So I reached out to our Stephanie and I said, do you fancy like maybe just coming in and you could maybe give us your take on what's happening, with this galactic astrology with regards to the planets aligning. And I'll maybe do some cards and we'll just see kind of what the energies are that are coming in because it does feel like a really big bang to this year. Stephanie, we've had the sun kicking off. Like and for a lot of people, it's been a pretty intense start to 2025. And I, these planets, they affect us even just before this alignment comes in. So thank you so much, Stephanie, for being here. Please, everybody, show our Stephanie some love in the chat. And if you're watching this later and you're not watching live, please show Stephanie some love in the comments. I love our Stephanie dearly. So what I'm gonna do, Stephanie, is I found GPT recently and it's phenomenal. And of course you can't believe everything that's written down and people are gonna be like, oh, AI, it's not really AI because it doesn't have a consciousness attached to it, I don't believe. So it just scours the internet basically and gives me information that it's found on the internet. That's really all that's happening. So I'm just going to share that. Oh, you're getting so much love. Yeah, loads and loads and loads of hearts, Stephanie. Okay, so
Thank you.
this sixth planet alignment, it says, is a rare alignment involving Mars, Jupiter, Uranus. I know, sorry, I'm five. Um, Neptune, Venus, and Saturn will occur, while Mars, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn will be visible to the naked eye. Viewing Uranus, sorry again, I'm five, and Neptune will require a telescope. You don't need a telescope to view my, never mind. Or a high-powered binocular. This alignment presents a unique opportunity for sky enthusiasts to observe multiple planets simultaneously. So, a planetary parade refers to a celestial event when several planets in the solar system appear to align or gather in the same region of the sky from Earth's perspective. These alignments don't mean the planets are literally in a straight line in space. Rather, they appear to be grouped together when observed from Earth. Planetary parades can involve as few as 3 planets or include all visible planets under ideal conditions. So that's and it says here January the 21st, but I've also seen dates of January the 25th, and I don't know. Do you want to introduce yourself, beautiful Stephanie, and we can chat about what you found kind of galactically?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's an honor. And thank you, everybody who took time out of their day to be here. I love you all. And I'm so excited. This is one of my passions. And those close to me know, I've been talking about doing this for a long time, galactic astrology. And I'm so excited to put this out there, my readings out there. And I'm just loving what's uncovered for me in the process and all the beautiful souls that have allowed me to look at their charts. Um, on an ongoing basis, just in my own chart. I mean, it's fascinating to me. It's always been fascinating to me ever since I was a little girl. I've
Right.
looked at the night sky and was just so enthralled with, the vastness of what's around us. And I never felt like we were the only beings in the universe, it just never felt right to me. So
It's too
that's
big.
a whole other topic. Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole other topic for another day. But astrology I've been studying for, wow, since 2008 or 9, I'd say. And my husband actually had this really thick book when I moved in with him before we got married, and I studied that book quite a bit, and so that was sort of the catalyst to, I just found it so fascinating, and I started doing charts, and
Right.
so I love the energies of the planets, and now I haven't visited there personally, but energetically, I can speak to it. As far as what I've learned so far and what I've been feeling and what I've gathered in my studies. So excited to
Fabulous.
share it with you all.
What really kind of got me with regards to this is you hear comments from like when something really auspicious is about to happen, like, oh, the planets are aligning, or there are these kind of sayings, aren't there, within our conversations as human beings with regards to, oh, the planets must have been aligning on that day, etc. So now that they are actually, and I mean, this might have happened, 1,000 times over, but I've never actually been aware or had a conscious awareness that it's actually happening. So it feels important. It feels big to me. So I really wanted us to kind of delve into the energies of this. And the reason for that, Stephanie, is because I believe that it's not about predicting something. What it's about is having tools ready at our disposal should we need them. So if we're aware of what energies are surrounding us and kind of what they're doing and how they're making people, I don't like the word making, but yeah, they are kind of, they're affecting people, by maybe what's coming up for them. There are times where people could be really irritable, or if we're aware that something is coming up with regards to that, then it allows us to have, like, so on these dates, allows us to be prepared with, like, okay, do I go and try and find a cave? Do I go into nature? Do I go and throw myself in the sea? Or is it a really great time actually to be out there and socializing with people and getting things done? So if we can look at the energies, it's almost like harnessing it, right? It's almost like, so we can be real alchemists with regards to the energies that are coming in. So if we know what they are, we can really harness them and use them to our best ability, because we are alchemists, right? So we can take these energies and really do whatever it is what we want to do with them, but we might not be able to do that if we don't know what they are. Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, Marie Claire from Canada. Hey, Susie. Good to see you, darling. Susie's saying hello. So how would you like to do this? Do you want to, is there like, because I don't really know much about astrology, like, is there something in particular that's like really standing out to you with regards to what's coming in? Would you like to share it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So first, I love numerology, so I think numerology plays a part in this as well. So I'll do my best to tie everything in together with what I've been feeling about this. So in numerology, this is the 25th is an 8 day. So that's a powerful day. So what that is enables you for inner strength, more confidence, abundance, freedom. I love the number 8. I always have, but it's also, the continuous cycle of things, the
Right.
flow I also feel, and not just money, but just overall abundance, wealth, giving, receiving. That's the energy of that day. Now, these specific celestial energies, these planets that we're talking about, there are, so what I found interesting is there's 7 actually. So Mercury is in the mix. Now,
Okay.
Mercury isn't visible though, because it's, really close to the sun. So we're not going to be able to see Mercury, but it is like in this lineup, which is
Okay.
super interesting.
Okay.
So there's 7, there's 7 energies
Ah,
here. And then we've got the star Sirius as well that showed up in this alignment. So I see Sirius come up a lot in readings with people with these galactic astrology readings as having lifetimes there or supporting, each individual as it shows up. And I want to say every celestial energy that we're talking about, these planets, the stars, they are, I feel, so, so supportive for us. And some people feel like, oh, this is, Mercury in retrograde, or, anytime a planet goes in retrograde, everybody freaks out. It's not like that. This is just these energies have a beautiful way of supporting us, and it's unique for each one of us. So the 25th, yes, these celestial energies are in these specific areas for us to see. And I'll talk a little bit more about what I was feeling with that. But in general, it's going to be unique. How this energy shows up for us
okay.
is going to be unique for each one of us, depending on our own blueprint, our own, what I call, our charts, basically, like where everything was when we were born, and that imprinted within us. So that's how I feel the energies work with us and support us. And with the with the energies being close together and visible in our sky, it's like I was feeling several things with this. So I feel that it's a reminder, anytime we can see these beautiful celestial bodies, it's like, oh, wait, there's something beyond us. We're all
Right.
connected. We're all part of this beautiful universe, this existence, right? And so I think it invokes more of an awakening. Uranus is contributing to that in this. Now I'm gonna laugh every time I say it, but
Sorry.
I always think it when I say it, but yeah,
I mean, I
it's
could
it's
have
really
picked a
funny.
different name.
So
I mean, I don't know.
yeah,
Maybe we just shouldn't have anuses in the English language. Don't know.
yeah,
It's our
exactly.
fault.
So so yeah, I feel very much like, what you were saying. I really agree with that. It is very impactful for us. And this is also throughout January. This is not just the 25th or the 21st, or this is, because some of these celestial energies, these planets, they don't move very fast, so they're in the same space or sign for a little bit. And so we can talk a little bit about that too. There's a lot of info. So if I go too far
I'm
out
buckled
there,
in.
you
I'm
just
ready.
you just say, "Whoa, Stephanie, slow down." Um, but yeah, I think it's beautiful because I feel that they're so supportive of us in our journeys, in such unique ways. And why I love this information and astrology so much is because it does give people so much clarity. And like you said, it's it's not about giving our power away to these energies. It's about, how can we work with this? How can we understand, or understand how this is showing up for us in our lives? In astrology, there's what we call the houses. And the houses are actually how this energy shows up in our human life, which is also so fascinating. That's a whole other layer, but it gives us more understanding of, why is this showing up for me right now? Like Mercury being in retrograde. Yeah, go ahead.
Are they houses because, again, like, guys, I don't know anything about astrology. But what I was seeing there was like it's when it comes into your home, like when the energy comes into your home. Like what
Mm.
what what do the houses mean? Is that's just kind of what I'm seeing. It's like, and if you think about what your home is like your safety, your sanctuary. It's like your inner, it's kind of your inner world that you create yourself, right? So it's
Yes.
reflective of what that is.
Yes, I like to say it, like this is how it shows up in your reality. That's a really great
Right.
way to say it too,
Okay.
because yeah, because that can be depending on the energies, whether it's the sun, the moon, some of it's very close to us and very visible as far as how it shows up. Other energies like Neptune, you know, Uranus, Pluto, Saturn, you know, that's farther out, and so they're a little bit more subtle, but they do still impact, our reality in such a massive way. Sometimes more profound ways too,
Okay.
especially Pluto. Pluto's yeah. Very, very that's the planet of transformation, death, rebirth,
Okay.
all of that. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So bringing it back to the 25th of January, what have we got energetically there? So you're saying there's seven planets, you've got Mercury. So,
Hmm.
so if we just list them and like give me like maybe one word as to kind of what that represents, just so that I can make sense of, can we do that? Just so that I can like
Of
make sense.
course.
Right. So Sirius, what would Sirius be representative of?
Sirius has been connected to, our very closely, to humankind, humanity, like our spiritual evolution,
Okay.
our growth. It's almost like what's the word? Very supportive, protective energies, I feel. Some people relate it to the feline beings, where cats come from, dogs, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So,
I see water.
but
Sirius. When I think
yes,
about Sirius energy, it feels really
yeah,
aquatic to me.
yes, I have heard that as well and felt that as well. Um, like a lot of water type beings, for sure have come through. Um, Not necessarily mermaid energy, it's more, like whales, and whales are very, very connected to Sirius. So I was feeling like because of that connection with water, I'm so glad you brought that up because I was feeling like maybe there will be more emphasis on, the oceans or our spirituality, expanding, that kind of thing. Like, and maybe there's going to be some more focus on preservation, and taking care of the wildlife, the sea life. So I think that's definitely something really special there. But with Sirius, it'll be different for everybody.
Okay,
You know how.
I'm just gonna put like spiritual growth there.
Mhm.
Like,
Sorry, you asked for one word.
but it's okay.
I asked
Like
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 three
like
sentences.
spiritual. Hello, Christina. Thank you for joining us. And Elizabeth, welcome as well. Oh, Sarah, welcome, darling. So for serious, I'm just gonna put like spiritual growth. Does that fit?
Yeah, perfect.
Mercury.
Okay, so Mercury is more about communication and short travel, like like transportation, short travel. That's what that mindset, mental faculty, that kind of stuff. What we talk about, think about.
Mental. So it's interesting. Sirius is kind of representing the spiritual element, and Mercury's representing like the mental element, right? What else is up there? What else is going on? We've got seven. That's
Yeah. So Venus, everybody loves Venus.
Venus.
And the signs that these energies are in are important too, because Venus is in Pisces right now.
Oh,
It's not in retrograde. So that means that relationships, I feel from looking at this, are more harmonious. There may be some more, spiritual connections within your relationships, maybe connecting to your tribe more in this time period is what I'm feeling, your soul tribe,
okay.
basically.
So can Venus represent like heart energy, like heart, like love and awakening it? If it's just
Hmm.
for me, because when we're talking about it, because I'm a very simple person, Stephanie, I like very simple things. So when we're talking about it, this is just really for like if you're saying serious, I'm thinking I'm connecting this to okay, this is like emotional growth. Or if you're talking about Mercury, I'm then connecting it to okay, this is kind of like the mental aspect, the communication aspect. So Venus, would we say that's like is that like heart energy?
Yeah, you could say that, like love, relationships.
Relationships.
Yeah, I correlate it with self-love as well. And it's a very
Ah,
feminine energy. Yeah.
so relationships and like self-love. Okay.
Yeah.
At four. So what else we got going on?
Oh, we've got Mars.
Mars.
Now, yeah, so Mars is really fascinating. Mars has always been more of a masculine energy to me. That is all about um, action, passion, getting things done. It can be very, very igniting, to especially if you if you have a huge influence of Mars in your chart, you're very, very, passionate, probably fiery person. So this it can also the shadow side of it. It is in retrograde right now, so the shadow side of Mars would be aggression,
Feels like
short
warrior,
tempers.
warrior kind
Hmm.
of energy. So
Yeah.
if I was to say warrior, like with that kind of like a warrior.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to sum it up. Absolutely.
People could be light, light warriors. They could be peaceful warriors. They don't have to be like causing destruction warriors. But I feel like that's
Yes.
the kind of energy round about it and everything. And listen, guys, give her, take or leave whatever we're saying here. This is just us delving into this and using our intuition, our gifts, and our abilities, and our, what we have here, just to really be looking into this period of time. Um, you feel into it for yourself, and as I always say. Okay, so we've got Mars, right? What's the five? What's number five? What comes after Mars?
Yeah. So I want to say too, real quick with Mars, it's in Cancer right now, which is a water sign, which is probably smoothing it out a bit for people. So it's not making it as intense. But anytime a planet is in retrograde, you're going more within, you're going over um, old experiences. Maybe you're having memories come up. Maybe there's a lesson that's coming up again for that's how I view retrogrades is anytime there's a retrograde, these are lessons that come up for review for us. However, we signed up to experience them. And because we have free will, we can either take that opportunity or, it'll come back around, but maybe more
Well,
intense next time. But
I wonder if the best way to do this is for my little simplistic self is if we like get one word and I know there's so much in it, Stephanie, but it's just so that when you're talking about it,
yes,
I can translate it kind of like for myself. Is that we could look at like the planets and then you could give me what sign they're in and like a word for the sign. Does that make sense?
sure. Yes,
And then
absolutely.
whether it's like going forward or backwards, and then that would kind of give us like an oh well, it would give me. You guys are probably like, oh my god, Joanne, do you really have to simplify it that much? Yes, yes, I do. Jacqueline, hello, welcome, honey. Um, would that work?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
So five. So we've got Mars, and then we've got
Jupiter, one of my
Jupiter.
favorites.
And what is Jupiter? What does Jupiter represent?
Jupiter is expansion
Oh,
and it's massive. And so it's like an expansion kind of magnifying energy.
nice. Then what do we have?
And then we've got Saturn. Now Saturn gets a bad rep.
Mm. What?
But well, Saturn is responsible for a lot of our lessons in this lifetime. It's a very fathering kind of energy.
Okay.
It can be very harsh
So,
sometimes.
so I do like put lessons for Saturn.
Yes,
Okay.
perfect.
And then the final one, if I count
Well,
it.
we've got Uranus and then
Oh,
we've got Neptune.
oh. I've counted Sirius as a planet. Okay. And then we've got Neptune, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so Uranus.
Yeah, so Uranus is really cool. Uranus is, you could think about it as like it definitely helps with our awakening, but also it's about revolution, rebellion,
Ooh,
very quick energy, abrupt.
it feels like revolution. Okay, and Neptune.
Neptune, now that's the most, I would say, the least egoic energy out of everything.
Okay.
And it's basically connected to spirituality. It's very dreamy. It can also have an aspect of illusion with it as well.
Mm,
But it's very connected to spirituality and
like behind the veil kind of thing.
yes, yes, very much so.
Like the unseen. Could I put unseen?
Yeah,
That
perfect.
would that
Yeah.
okay, so if we go back to Sirius, what star sign is Sirius showing up in?
Well,
Or does
oh,
that
that's a
not
good question. I
maybe that
don't know.
works that way?
Um,
Because I put it
but
down as
it,
a planet.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
not sure, but I know it'll be visible. So if everybody has one of those apps, if you like to look at the night sky, I think there is an app called Night Sky, but Sirius will show up just really close to all those
Oh,
planets, the groups that
okay,
we're talking about.
cool.
Yeah.
So Mercury, what's
So
Mercury?
Mercury,
Yeah,
yeah, the sign it's in right now.
yeah.
Yeah, it's in Capricorn
Ah,
right now. So yeah, very, very grounded communication right now.
it's like grounded. Capricorn's a grounded energy.
Yeah, very grounded, very stable, hardworking type of energy, so rolling up our sleeves. Maybe people are fine tuning, how they communicate, but it could be in a much more grounded way for them, just depending on their charts.
And is it going forward or backwards? Is that
It's not in retrograde. Yeah.
not in retrograde? Okay,
Yeah. Not right now.
not right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, Stephanie.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Venus.
Venus is not in retrograde, so I feel, and that's in Pisces. So Pisces is, that very gentle, the spiritual energy. We were talking about water energy,
Okay,
and relationships are definitely more harmonious right now. I feel just especially with it not being in retrograde.
nice. It's about time with a break from that. Okay, what about
Yeah.
Mars? What's Mars showing up?
So Mars is in retrograde,
Okay.
and that's in Cancer right now. So the Cancerian water energy with Mars feels like it's almost like cooling it down a bit, and you may not be feeling as passionate about things, but you might be reviewing because it is in retrograde. You might be reviewing what am I passionate about? You might be perhaps breaking old patterns of how you've dealt with, perhaps your anger, um, explosions, that kind of thing. And so you could be reviewing a lot of different ways of being right now with that. The Cancer energy is very mothering as
It's
well, so that's
interesting that
helpful.
that's in kind of like it's almost like it's bringing balance to
Yes,
the Mars energy itself. So is
yes,
there that like kind of balancing of because what you've got there is like, you know, war versus peace kind of is what I'm seeing it there is. So is it almost like a little kind of is this bringing like the little null point, I suppose? Could the energies of them planets be bringing this stability maybe?
yeah, yeah. I feel like it's bringing, like you said, the reprieve, kind of a break, and I don't know. I just keep feeling more along the lines of passions, and people really, and why they're passionate about something, and is this supporting others as well? How is this supporting me? How is this supporting others? Do I want to take this with me, especially being in the beginning of the year here? I mean, so, like we said, the other day, it could be some people don't consider this the beginning of the year, but yeah, it's
Oh,
still
I
a new
forgot.
beginning.
I'm just laughing. I've just caught Emma's. Let me just read Emma's comment. I'm sat listening with excitement, understanding absolutely nothing, and learning at the same time.
Love you, Emma.
um, okay, cool. So then we move to Jupiter. So what's Jupiter doing?
Jupiter is also in retrograde, which is fascinating. And that's in Gemini. Gemini is an air sign. And so, with communication, yeah, it feels like there's Jupiter's, I feel like even when it is in retrograde, it's still expansive, but I feel like it's expanding and magnifying. I'm hearing like what's no longer in balance. And when it's connected to Gemini, communication's coming up today
Mm.
in a big way, I think. So, but it could be how you put yourself out there, and how you present yourself, or maybe you've got travel, or things that you're thinking about, or how you're processing information. Maybe you're getting more organized. Air also helps us get more organized. So yeah, but Jupiter is very supportive, and anytime anything's in retrograde, you're reviewing things. It's very supportive. Slows things down, I feel, as well.
Does Gemini also bring like polarity? Um,
Yes. Yes.
because what I'm seeing is polarity, and it's interesting with everything that you're bringing through. Like there's almost like this picture being painted for me, and this is why I was asking you to break it down so that I could, in simpler ways for me to be able to understand. Like, um, that kind of does the energy of where Jupiter is round about this time, like, is it like a choice point? It
Mm.
of polarity. Like you can go one way or the other because it feels like that expansion and that kind of like two areas is well, um, like it's growth either way. Like you can either grow into lots of wonderful better and better, or you can grow into the world of like not so better and better. I don't know else. But that energy there, like I don't know how it collates, but that energy when we're talking about the energy of Jupiter, like it feels like quite a big influence. So I don't know if that shows like on the chart that's coming in. It's interesting.
Yeah. Jupiter is massive. I mean, I feel like with all of these energies, but especially Jupiter, Saturn, the larger bodies, in our system, we just feel it that much more.
Or
It's just that much more. Some of them are more subtle, but I definitely feel these energies are very, very powerful, but they're loving. This is all about, because I think Earth, and I'm probably getting off topic here,
not at
but
all.
I'm just going way out here, but I feel like Earth, our this body, is affecting other planets, right? And if there's beings on these other planets, which I do believe there are, they're everywhere. But I had a funny thought, is how do they view Earth and their astrology? Because
Right.
the, like this is old, ancient information and old ways of supporting humanity, but it also supports other beings, I feel like. And so I really had a thought about that, and I had a chuckle because Earth is so dynamic, and so so many lessons here. So I just wonder, it's just a funny thought. How do we show up in
Do you know
other
what I saw there?
astrology,
Yeah, I love that, Stephanie. What I saw in my head there was um like astrology is like the newspaper, like of Earth. Like, how to explain that? So I seen like all these beings like reading a newspaper, but it's actually like the astrology report. Because like I don't really know how to explain what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, I
like
totally know what you're
they didn't have
saying. Yeah.
newspapers years ago. They didn't know what was happening, right? So if we could go back to like, our ancestors before television and the world that we know with regards to computers and communication that way, like that was probably how they were taught to know what was happening was were these celestial bodies, right? That was like their newspaper, and that was just kind of what I seen there. um
Yes.
so Saturn, but I love that. I wonder, what could Earth represent? What do you feel like it would represent, if you were a being that was on Sirius, for example, just because we've said that? What do you think Earth's traits would be?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I was feeling very grounded, like it's a more grounded energy for others,
Yeah.
for other energies out there. Hmm. And it does feel like a very feminine energy. But it is, as we all know, there's so much duality here. So I feel like there's some aspect in that for how the energy of Earth shows up in
It's
other
interesting because
astrology.
it feels like it would be more like a sun and a moon energy. Like
Mm,
it feels like it would just kind of always be like be present in some shape or form, and it feels really slow.
yeah, I would
So,
agree with you.
like I think these cycles that we go through with regards to uh war and all that kind of things, like it's almost like it doesn't move quickly. These cycles are long. Long community, Jacqueline said. Yeah, actually, community, that would be quite a good one, quite representation.
Mm,
So we're off track, but I love that. It's cool. Um,
yeah.
Saturn. Saturn is I've wrote down like the lessons. So what Saturn do
Hmm.
with regards to what sign it's in, etc.
So Saturn is in Pisces as well right now. The Pisces energy coming in strong. So there's Neptune's in Pisces, Saturn is in Pisces as well. And so but Saturn, because it's such a good teacher,
Mm.
and it also oversees, I feel, karma, dharma, both sides of that as well. And so, but it's about rolling up our sleeves as well. Saturn is, I don't like to say hard work, but how about we say consistency? How about we say I would say consistency, and what's the word I'm looking for? Almost like, it's like this energy of just sticking with it. And when you stick with it, Saturn is very rewarding, and discipline. I think that's the word I'm looking for,
Okay.
discipline. So with the Pisces energy, this might be a little challenging for people though, because Pisces is very dreamy, it's very watery. And so
Isn't
you
much
might
discipline
feel,
within a Pisces.
yeah,
Just
you
talking
might feel,
about you.
yeah, you might feel challenged depending on how this shows up for you in your chart. What's what we call transits.
Okay.
You can go, if anybody's curious, you can go to astrochart.com, I believe, and you can put in your birthday, and then you can type in the day of what you're evaluating, like for instance, the 25th, and you can see how these energies show up for you.
I love that, but you know what? I know I'm totally going off track, but with regards to like the readings that you do you like meet with people and talk to them about it, or do you send them the chart? How does that work?
Yeah, I like to do one-to-one.
Oh,
So
good.
I, yes.
Because remember you've got some knowledge of this stuff, right? And like I literally don't. Like I know what Pisces is because I'm Pisces and I've lived Pisces and I know I'm very Pisces. So when you're saying Pisces, I'm like, oh yeah, I can totally relate because I know what it is what I am, right? I'm really Pisces. Um But like I could go on to, and I have done, I've printed off my chart. I couldn't tell you how many times I've printed off my chart. You know what a chart looks like to me? It looks like some kind of light language that somebody wrote on a bit of paper, and I'm supposed to like, decipher it. Like for somebody that knows nothing about astrology, it's just like, what am I supposed to do with that? So if I was wanting to have any kind of chart done, I would want to have somebody that I could have the conversation with. Like we're having a day that I could be like, can you just like explain what that means to me in just like layman's terms so that I can understand it? Okay, that's fab.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we've got this kind of, it's really interesting where if there's and tell me if I'm right or wrong here because I'm only like feeling into it. But could it be the energy of like also kind of cycling? Again, it's almost like this
Mm-hmm.
polarity. Is this polarity of where you're being given an opportunity to really, but you have to work for it. Like there's this kind of like almost swimming upstream a little bit.
Yes.
Like you have to like I'm seeing little salmon like swim upstream, right? To get to where you want to be. Or like you could be a little bit lazy and you might find yourself just kind of coming back round. I mean, you're gonna have to be like a salmon and kind of swim up that river anyway, I feel. Um, but this energy again, it feels quite like different poles, which is interesting with regards to kind of what I'm feeling about two different vibrational earths. And I'm kind of seeing it show up within the astrology, and I haven't done a video about it to be able to kind of discuss that, but it's fascinating to me. It's almost
Yeah.
like it's showing there's a lot of polarity coming up with regards to what's being shown there for me anyway, from
Yeah.
what I can see and feeling.
That's
Okay.
beautiful. I love how you broke that down because yeah, because Saturn is it is a very and this is why it gets such a bad rep, I think, is because it is a very contracting type of energy. You know, you might feel squeezed, you might feel, but it's one of those energies that if you just keep going, you know, and you just take baby steps towards healing, towards whatever you know, whatever's coming up for you right now, these lessons that are presenting, you know, then you will get to the other side of it. And it's not always like this, you know, but it's just this massive energy that supports us in healing what we came here to do, you know. And I love that you said the cycle because it's also, we've been talking about this a lot, but, you know, it's a 9 year in numerology, it's a 9 universal year. And so what that means is there's a lot of cycles completing right now. There's a lot of things coming full circle, if you will, which is so beautiful. And then with this energy, you know, it all works together. You know, I just think it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we can see, but lessons are really just opportunities, right?
Yes.
Like it's really, if you look at that salmon like swimming up the river, like that salmon has the opportunity to just stay there and have a nice little, in the water. It can just stay there. It can have a nice little life. Like some of its pals want to stay, they can have a nice little salmony time to themselves. Um, but if they put in, a little bit of hard work, then that's where they find their partner. That's where they can have their children. That's where they can like move forward with, what it was they really came here to do, which was to, eat, procreate, and die, right? In the life of a salmon. So it's almost like, is this opportunity, like you can take it easy and you can just kind of float about, and that's perfect. Or you can just like use this energy to just uphill it a little bit, just knowing that, because these salmon are either going to die there or they're gonna have to go up at some point. Anyway, don't know why
Yes,
salmon's coming. I
absolutely.
just keep seeing the salmon.
Yeah, I love that you say that though. Opportunities. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's what
opportunity.
exactly.
Yeah, it's like this
Yeah.
is opportunity. If we can harness this energy that's coming in, in January, if we can harness this, it's like the grounding for everything that we want for the rest of the year. or
Yes.
we can cycle or continue to just live in these karmic little loops. Or it's fascinating. Okay, so
Yes, that's what I was seeing. I'm sorry to get off topic, but like
oh,
with all of them being so close, to in our with our naked eye, and a few telescopes, of course, but with all of them being so close together, it's like, yeah, they're like coming together for us. It's
mm.
very supportive, and it's like, yes, massive change, massive opportunities, especially with Jupiter in there. So yeah, I love how you've tied all this together.
April, so Stephanie is really good at explaining all the things astrology to those that don't know anything about it, like me.
Aw.
And she means her,
Thank you, beautiful.
like me too, April. And April's is growth. I choose growth. Okay, so you're the one that's really funny. Uranus, what you're at, right? Uranus. Yeah.
So this is really interesting. So Uranus is in retrograde right now.
Okay.
So yeah, this is really interesting. It's in Taurus, which is a very grounded energy. Now, typically your Uranus is connected to air. That's the energy of it. And it's very quick moving, very sudden, a lot of sudden changes, innovation, awakening. It's also connected to humanitarianism,
Mm.
um, but it can be very like erratic energy. So some astrologers have actually tied Uranus to volcanic activity, seismic activity, that kind of stuff,
Wow.
which is really interesting. And it moves a lot slower, but being that it's in retrograde, along all those lines, you could be feeling even more perhaps slowed down right now, or, it depends on how Uranus shows up for you and your chart. But again, it's another opportunity for things, I think, because it's funny, I've been having conversations with people who are saying things feel very things are at a pause right now.
Mm.
And it's not a very quick moving, like some things are quick, opportunities are coming up quickly, I feel. But as far as changes, that's what I'm actually trying to say is when it comes to changes or events, it feels like maybe things have slowed down a little bit, and in our outer world as well. It could be connected to the fires. This is very um, sudden energy as well, that people are seeing in our reality. But yeah, and with awakening, it being connected to awakening, I mean, I was feeling that even though it's in retrograde, it feels like the groundwork, is being laid for, and it's slowing down, for, yes, 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 yes. This is what I'm feeling, is that it's being slowed down. The groundwork is being laid for another massive awakening as well. I think it's already happening, but
Just wrote on a bit of paper, The Great Awakening, another one.
yeah, I love it. How many is this now? Must be like 4.0, I don't know. But probably too high of a number to count in human history. But yeah, I think that's beautiful. And it's it's a more grounded energy, it's not in its, traditional air sign. So Taurus being all about earth, and we were just talking about grounding quite a bit actually yesterday in our group. So
I'm also seeing like Taurus represents a bull, am I right?
mhm.
So I'm seeing the bull, but I'm seeing the bull like, so I'm seeing like them horrible. And if you like these things, don't take any offense. I don't think anybody here would like this bullfight. Where they run down the streets, like so in Spain they have these things where they just kind of
Yes.
let the bulls like run down the streets and people like do red, like, so this is what I'm seeing like with regards to this energy. And I'm seeing like people just being like if they're being stupid. Do you know what I mean? If you're gonna stand in front of a bull and like wave a red rag at it, hi Laura, lovely to see you. If you're gonna stand there and like shake a red rag at the bull, like, come and get me, like Yeah, what do you think's going to happen? Do you know what I mean? Do you, oh, the bull's just going to go, but I'm going to go and get somebody else. Like, of course it's going to come, it's going to pick you up and it's going to throw you. So it's interesting, like I'm seeing with these, because you know, you said like Uranus can be that revolution kind of energy as well. So with that, it's feeling like don't be stupid. Like don't stand in front of bulls and like wave red rags at them unless you want to be like thrown about.
Yes. Yes. I
Uh,
love how you put that together. That's beautiful.
cool.
Yeah.
Neptune.
Yeah, Neptune feel, I've always loved Neptune. It's just a beautiful energy and that's not in retrograde right now. It's in Pisces. So that's actually
Really, what is that like
um
double water or something? It's like really water.
yeah, yeah, because I believe yes, so Neptune actually rules the sign of Pisces. So it's in its native sign right now. And so what that means is it's just a more harmonious energy. You could be feeling, not necessarily, well, let me take this. So you could be also feeling very dreamy, very wanting to slow down, wanting to, go with the flow. This is very supportive if you're shifting from, wanting to be in control of everything all the time to just being more in flow, I feel. But it is connected to merging with oneness as well, which I think is beautiful. So it's supporting us in, I feel like we're all on this journey. If we're in this human body on this planet, we're all on this journey right now, to become more aware of how our energy affects the all, because it does. Each one of us affects the all. And each one of us is connected to source, creator, whatever label you want to put on it. But yeah, it's a very beautiful, flowing, soft, gentle energy to me right now, is what it feels like. But if it gets out of balance, it can be connected to like escapism, illusion, getting caught up in illusion. Yeah.
How do you feel this is like? Because we had, Sirius was bringing like the spiritual growth, Mercury was coming in with it, like the mental. This really feels like it's coming in with that emotional part of it, that kind of
Mm,
trine that's there.
beautiful.
Um and it's almost like that in itself is a message of like, if you're wanting spiritual growth, like stay grounded, be balanced, and like allow your emotions, because I mean, I don't know about anybody else here, but I've been really emotional since the beginning of this year. I've been sitting in a lot
Mm,
of energy with regards to grief. And a lot of us, you know, I don't like speaking for other people. I used to find it very hard to stay in emotional places because it's almost like we're taught, well, emotions are wrong. Like you should really have them. You should handle your emotions. You should control your emotions. You should. So I wonder if there's part of the energy of this coming in, with everything. It's almost like this bombard. We'll call it a bombardment of support, right? It's definitely let's call it
yes.
like a bombarding supportive energy that's coming in. Um, but with it, like the emotional side of it, like can we just allow ourselves to not, like I like when I have emotions coming, I have to be the emotion. Like I have to allow it, I have to speak to the emotion, I have to see kind of, what opportunity there is to grow from the emotion that's coming in. Um and not push it away or try to, a lot of the time I would do cold water, and then that would shift it, right? But it was always still there if I didn't actually like listen to it or do something with it. So there feels something like quite big with regards to this alignment of these energies with regards to that kind of emotional element as well, because there's a lot of like Pisces energy there.
Mhm.
And Pisces is an emotional sign. I mean, you can tell I'm only talking about Pisces because that's the only thing I know about. Um, but it is like, it can be a very, very, very emotional sign. So that energy there, I don't know, is it like you can allow yourself to go off in a little way daydream and pretend that life isn't happening, right? And you can go, because I was very good at that as well. I was very good at just like, I'm gonna go and like detach myself and live in a dream up a world that doesn't actually exist, so I don't have to be in the one that I'm in, right? um Again, is it that kind of polarity coming in there where it's like, well, you can detach and pretend that everything's okay and push away your emotions and not actually look at it and deal with it? Or are you gonna allow yourself to actually just be like, well, I'm human, and if there's an emotion coming in, it's safe. It's safe for me to whatever that is, as long as we're not throwing at other people. Like even the emotion of anger, we can have a righteous anger that we can do something with. Like as long as we're not throwing that anger at somebody else, like as long as I'm not taking my grief and expecting somebody else to pick up the pieces of it, or as long as I'm holding that emotion myself to deal with it myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I love that you brought that forward, with the whole balance aspect of it, because especially, you know, things can feel really, 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 they can start to feel even more uncomfortable if we are trying to run away from what is being presented to us. And I know this, trust me, I have buried my head in the sand before and then said, "Oh, I don't need to deal with that," or "Oh, that's too uncomfortable." But I've learned that, yeah, if we just face it, and we have all these energies, like our own soul is orchestrating all of these beautiful opportunities for us, and we're just getting this support, to shift this. So yeah. So especially with, there's a lot of loud events going on around us, in the
Mm,
outside world as well. And not all of us are in those events, but we're still feeling them,
right.
and so I think too, it's important to not allow ourselves to get caught up in, and trust me, this is a lifelong probably lesson for me, and I'll get better and better at it, but not taking on the energy of what's going on around us as well, you know, especially because with Neptune in Pisces, being that's Neptune rules Pisces, but um it's very natural, but also, it can activate more perhaps healing abilities. I feel like Sirius plays a part in this as well.
Mm.
And so perhaps, you're feeling called to, focus on other healing abilities, healing yourself, going within as well. So
It feels like quite a lot.
it's a lot. I know.
Yeah.
I could talk about this stuff forever.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I mean, we're
I
not
feel like I barely scratched the surface.
we're not normally, or are we? I don't know. Are we normally under this kind of much planetary influence in everyday life? Does this, because I don't do astrology and I don't look at it, like, okay, here's my question. Why is this different than like last January, for example, right? Like, why does this feel, if we've got planets in the sky all the time and they're going in and out all these different signs and they're retrograding and visiting different people's houses, um if those energies are like, what makes this different, I suppose, is what I'm asking, Stephanie.
Yeah, good question. So I would say, what I'm feeling with this is because there are points throughout the year, through our lifetime where there are really massive events like this, more powerful,
Mm.
more a bigger energy, like I said, just like we've been talking about them coming together and creating more opportunities, more change, all of that. But and yes, I feel these energies always influence. I don't want to say influence. These energies always support us, throughout every moment of the day. But why now? I feel that more people are awakening to galactic galactic energy, galactic aspects, the fact that yeah, it's not just me, there's something so much bigger, which is a part of the awakening that humanity is going through as well. We're taking it not just from our focus on self, but the bigger picture, so I feel like a lot more people are getting more interested in this. And then we've got the energies, the events in the sky that have been happening, that are pulling people's attention there.
Right.
And it's all beautiful, whether it's, I mean, we could theorize, and I haven't seen them in my reality. I haven't seen what everybody's been talking about lately, but does it mean that it doesn't exist? No, it just, it's just another layer of awakening and people realizing, hey, there's a lot going on, and so
It's really interesting because what I'm seeing there as you're talking is, again, it's about opportunity. And most people here, like, let's look at this from an awakening point of view, right? What I'm seeing is the energies of all these planets being where they are under the influence of what they're under is the biggest supportive energy for awakening. And whereas before we've had like big awakenings where it's taken one event to bring through a whole load of people, it's almost like the planets themselves are in control of separate events.
mhm.
So it's almost like, each planet has a different awakening event that is going to affect the people that is under the influence of said energy of said planet. So that's what it feels like. It feels,
Mm.
and that's I believe why it's bringing my attention, because I don't necessarily, my past energy, right? And I read energies, and I read the energies of the moment, and I can know how they're affecting people, and I can know how they're affecting, a group of people, the majority of Earth, or that's just kind of always been my path. And it's like I can get up in the morning, I can go, whoa, like this is going to be a really intense day today, because people are going to feel a whole load of grief, or people are going to feel a whole load of, and the more people that feel one thing, the more intense it is, right? So this feels like whether
Yeah.
it's 7 or 8 events, we could have maybe already had 2 of them, right? Oh, I'm getting good. So, is this alignment signaling those big massive events that are gonna happen this year, in regards to, because not everybody's gonna awaken with the same thing happening to them. Let's look at the terrible fires that are happening, for example, right? What if, like, I saw, and I'm just going to say what I saw online. I'm not saying if I believe it, whether it's true. It's not up to me to tell anybody what to believe, and people can feel and find whatever they want, right? But I did see a meme that said, isn't it interesting that the fires here are exactly where they're wanting to put a high-speed railway, for example, right? Now, I don't know if that's true. That's just a meme on that could be AI generated, it could be made up, it could be, I don't know, right? But I'm using it as an example, because what if the people that have had that devastation happen to them, what if that's what they needed to go, well, hold on a minute, we can't trust, like, this has been done to us. If that event needed to awaken that area, within the world, which holds an energy all to itself, which is a conversation for another day. There's cleansing and stuff that happens there as well, right? So all this stuff is multi-layered. You know, there's multi-layers that happen within these spaces. But I'm just wondering, because we've got the representation of the mind, the body, the spirit. We've got the representation of like really male and female energies, right? But there just seems to be this kind of choices, these really big polarity choices of like going one way or another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if maybe that is the reason for the intensity, and it's almost like a precursor to like just be prepared. Just be prepared this year for, you know, great awakenings happening. And we know, you know, unfortunately, that doesn't happen through lovely things happening in the world. We know that happens through people going through pain. And that's the harsh truth and the harsh reality. Well, it's mine anyway. I wish it wasn't that way. I wish it was different. I wish it hadn't been my experience. I wish it hadn't been my friends and the people I love's experience, right? But it was, and it is. And I would like to share something, if I may. So when you were talking about the whole Saturn and the Pisces and the karmic stuff, I'm not going to go too much into like specifics, but what I've been faced with and dealing with at the beginning of this year, what was shown to me yesterday I was in a Stephanie, I was in my self-defense class, right? But I'd got in touch with them beforehand and I went, listen, I'm feeling a little bit weepy. I'm not going to apologize if I do cry when I'm there. I'm not going to say sorry for crying, but I do want you to be aware why I might cry, right? But I feel I need to be here because it's going to help me. It's going to help me move through it, right? So anyway, beautiful. I'm gonna see if you'll come on YouTube and chat. Anyway, so he did this meditation, which we've never done before. And in this meditation, the Kuan Yin's karmic dragons came in, right? Because he did this meditation to call in his Reiki guides to help anybody that was there. And he said to me, for your heartache. So anyway, I seen like Kuan Yin's dragons came in and they started like putting all this kind of like blossom round about me. And I'm like, it's really interesting. Like, why, you know, I think I've done my karma. Why are you coming in for me? I don't understand, right? So I wasn't trusting Stephanie. So I thought this is really fascinating. So I just kind of, and then I was shown, and I was shown that right now, and take this, leave this, do whatever anybody wants with it, right? The reason things are so bad, and they're bad, right? But the reason things are so bad is because we get the opportunity in one lifetime, this lifetime, to dissolve all our karmic stuff. Now, we've taken lifetimes upon lifetimes upon lifetimes to learn this stuff. This lifetime, this opportunity of ascension, we can't ascend with karmic debt. We only start ascension process once we pay that off. So the reason we have so many souls coming in here and things look so terrible and there's so much pain and there's so much suffering is because these souls have asked for it to pay off their karmic debt to be able to ascend. And what I seen was a child choosing to end their life at a very young age. And I saw that soul got to ascend straight away. And not only that, their parents, they ascend after this lifetime too. They don't have to be awake. They don't have to be doing the work. They don't have to, that one choice by that. And it shifted everything for me, Stephanie. It absolutely shifted everything for me because I was even questioning, like, I've been questioning my belief systems. Like, I've been in this place of like, what is going on? Like, it's because, you know, if you have a belief in a creator or God or whatever, like how can there be, this is why. And this, I believe, is what we're kind of being shown in the reflection of this galactic astrology reading that you're bringing forward, Stephanie, because when I'm looking at this is kind of what it's showing. Like, yeah, like there can be a lot of pain, there can be a lot of suffering, this whole great awakening, this everything that could possibly happen this year, but we can't see it as bad. If we see it as bad and we fall into these places, then it's not helpful. And it's okay to feel that stuff. But when I was shown that, I never thought about that. I'd never thought about that. So that choice is, which is one of the most horrific things ever to ever happen, you know, actually allows three souls to pay off their karmic debt in ascent. Like that. And is it horrific? And are they going to be in pain for the rest and have to suffer that? And yes, but on like this higher, bigger, soul level, like that was phenomenal to me when that came through. And so it's really fascinating that all these planets from the sky and the different, signs that they're in and retrograde and whatever. It's almost like it's setting that up, right? Giving everybody the opportunity for that. And it's horrific, people losing their homes and all the animals and like it's horrific. In I mean, it's people here, we feel this stuff, like of course we do. But what do we do with it? I've done the blame game. I've blamed other people, I've blamed the 1%, the other side. I've done that. And if you're still doing this, it's fine. I'm not judging you. I did that. Did it do anything? Did it make me feel any better? Did it help? It kind of helped a little bit in my understanding of how things ran and what was going on, right? But it did nothing for me. It did nothing to change anything. It did nothing to shift. I just did the acceptance of that.
Yeah.
And so now knowing that actually everything that's presenting is giving everybody the opportunity to ascend.
Beautiful.
And is that what these planets aligning are doing? It is that, because it's so big. As I say, for me to like want to look into this kind of in an astrological sense, when it's never anything I've really been feel to do. I know it's big. I know it's important. So now that I've kind of shared that with you, and you've got more knowledge of this than me, how does that kind of align with what you've seen with regards to the chart?
Yeah, I mean, everything that you said just it it reminded me of the polarity. I think that's especially when it comes to children, that is so challenging to process because we they're innocent, and they're these beautiful beings that come here and beautiful souls, and teach us so much. And I'm glad that you brought that up, the perspectives around why these things happen, because so much of these things are happening around us, and when we care so much and care so deeply, it's very hard to, it can be very challenging to process. And if you don't have anybody to reach out to talk to, think about all the people who are experiencing death that don't have the ability or have the tools to see the bigger picture. So I think what was coming forward when you were talking was, it's just this, it's our connection to the bigger picture, to things outside of ourselves, but in a beautiful way and an acceptance of, not letting ourselves getting sucked down into what looks bad, and the blaming, like you said. I thought that was wonderful you brought that up, because yeah, I was definitely in that space as well. But and a lot of people don't like this viewpoint, but what I've come to make peace with is that these energies, these, whatever they are, lower frequency expressions, density, darkness, whatever label you want to put on it, it does push us to grow in such a massive way. They are catalysts for massive awakenings and massive growth and healing, because without them, without that experience, and even growing up, in our own experiences, our own traumas, we wouldn't be who we are today. But it's also about choices, and like you said, these are opportunities for us to make the choices, because at the end of the day, at the end of our lifetime, whatever, we can evaluate, like, what are the choices that we made, because we could have had we could have made other choices, and that would have been okay too. There's no right or wrong, but it's like, I don't know about you, but I'm like, I came here to get some stuff done, and I don't want to keep repeating.
Right. Right. But
And so, but yeah.
and
Oh, go
and
ahead.
and I love that. And I love that we chose an awakened path. We chose a conscious path. That was the path that we chose. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I love that people who haven't chose that path still have the opportunity.
Yeah.
It's happening regardless of whether they have a conscious awareness of it or not.
Yes.
And to me, that's massive, because I don't believe that's something that's happened before. And so, we can look at the world as, hell, or we can look at it as heaven, really. Um,
Mhm.
and you're right, it's choice. It's about you choose what that is, and what you want it to be. Okay, so if you were to like round up, everything that you've learned and looked at and felt with regards to this kind of planetary alignment that's coming in, is there any advice? And I know it affects people differently depending on what's in their chart and all the rest of it, but maybe advice is the wrong word. Is there anything that you would like to share with regards to what's coming in that might be helpful to people as they step into the energies?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I would say, when these opportunities come up, I know some of us may be feeling very challenged right now. Some of us may be feeling overwhelmed. There could be changes on the horizon, whatever's happening, and just know and find peace in any way that you can, that this is divinely orchestrated for your highest good at all times. And, release any attachment to what you think the outcomes of things should be right
Mm.
now. Just trust. You've got to trust, because, and I know that's challenging. That is an ongoing challenge that I shift as well, is trusting. But as I trust, I create a lot less suffering for myself, and if I release control, or perceived control, right? And especially as it pertains to other people's journey and other people's experiences, just do your absolute best to stay grounded, to stay aligned, to your truth, to your heart. And if groundings come up a lot, the nature, trees, Mother Earth is so beautifully supportive of us, as we're grounding in these energies that are coming in too. And it's not, and you mentioned the sun earlier, that's a big one, so definitely support yourself. Self-care, please make time for that, because this is a lot. And I feel that it is more intense this year. We're closing down a lot of cycles. We're closing down a lot of old stuff that we don't need anymore. And that can feel like a lot. So make sure you have time to slow down a little bit, go outside, whatever it is for you, taking a salt bath, going for a walk, things like that, and just find joy. This doesn't have to be don't have to be miserable just because you're going in through a healing journey, just because there's a lot going on around us. We're not meant to be miserable. We've got to find joy, in our lives.
In the small
So that's what
things.
I would say. Yeah.
Well, beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that, Stephanie. Kelly Stewart, hello. April, if you can and you have the ability, can you pop a little link to Stephanie's website in the chat, please, and pin it if you've got the ability to do that. Aria says, I've lost 3 family members in a month and about to lose another. Thank you for Joanne, as I've been questioning that why as well. Yeah, I'm sending love to you, Aria, darling. Does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask with regards to this? Paula, hello. Have a great day on purpose. Oh, I like that. Maybe I should say
Ooh.
that to people. Have a great day on purpose. I love that. Oh, it's lovely to see you, Kelly. Lovely to see your beautiful name come up. Can't see your face here, obviously. Hi, Yannicka. Does anybody have any questions or anything for our Stephanie? I will put her details in the description. I haven't done that the past 2 videos because they don't show up on my YouTube. But this one will. And I will be easily able to add that in. If for any reason that doesn't happen, you can reach out to me and I can pass you Stephanie's details. But I think April's maybe gonna be gonna win. There it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
I pin that.
Thank you.
There we go. I've pinned that message. Thank you, Stephanie. I could speak
Thank
to you all
you.
day. I could speak to you all day about this. Is there anything else you want to say or add or anything at all?
Yeah, just thank you so much for having me, beautiful. And everybody, thank you for being here. And I hope this has brought some clarity and some peace, around what you might be feeling. And yeah, if anybody would like a galactic astrology reading, please reach out, and all the details are on my website.
What
So
does that
it
look
would be
like
an honor.
quickly? Like what does it look like?
Oh, sure. So what it is basically you send me your birth information, your location, date of birth, time, all that, and then I'll pull up the chart, and I take some time to go through it and come up with some specifics that I want to cover, what comes through, and then we will have a one-to-one session where I go through all the information with you, and a lot comes in when I'm talking to people as well. So a lot I'll get visuals, I'll get more information, and really it's focused on your soul's journey, your soul's journey in the galaxy and beyond, and what you're experiencing in your human life in this lifetime. It just provides a lot of clarity and support and activations too, and also explanations around why you may have experienced certain things in this lifetime with maybe other beings, or you feel pulled to a particular area of the galaxy, of the night sky. There's always a reason for that. So
Yeah, so particularly people that maybe use the term like star seed, or they feel that they're maybe
mhm.
like from, a certain place, that the galactic astrology could help them understand that as well. Emma says, what if
Yep.
you don't know the time you were born? And April says, can you do an astrology reading without the time of birth?
Well, right now I am not, because the time of birth does impact a good bit of the chart. I feel so as I progress and continue to hone in on my skill set, I will be offering that. But right now, I do need the time of
So what
birth.
if like I know I was born between like 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the morning?
Hmm.
So would that be like if I wanted to book a session with you, like would I have to have the exact time that they have on my birth certificate?
We can, if it's within the hour, I think it's pretty close. Is from what I understand. So yeah, I think but if you have no awareness of the time, that would be a bit challenging,
Right.
I think.
Because I know in astrology, like they have a cut off, don't they? It's like if you don't know the time of birth,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe I'm making this up. I don't know. But if you don't
No, you're not.
know
No.
birth, it's like you can either put that you were born after 7:30 in the morning or before 7:30 in the morning, or it's something like that. And then that always confused me because I'm like, oh, well, I know it was there or thereabouts, so I don't actually know whether I can put before or after it. So okay,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, within the hour we can, and when it comes to like the distant planets and their influence, a lot of that information is pretty close. It's just when we get to other aspects of the chart, it's really challenging to read without, can be challenging without an exact time. So,
And why would somebody want one?
well, they may be wanting clarity, on why they feel challenged, in a particular area, or why they've experienced certain things in their life, like health issues or massive changes, I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah.
So
And so
I find that it brings people a lot of clarity.
do you
Yeah.
ask that? Like, so say for example, I was somebody who I'll give you the opposite of something that say it was somebody that had like relationship problems all the time, like I was going from like one person to another, and I wanted to, the reason I was wanting, this done from the main part was to understand that, like, are people able to give you specifics to look at, or do you look at everything?
Yeah, I look at everything. I do look at the big picture, but I do allow for everybody to ask questions, so if they have specific questions that they want some clarity on during the session, I just allow myself, my intuition to come through, and I'm guided to certain aspects in the chart that explain a lot. I can also do a point in time reading where if someone is really struggling with an event that occurred, I can pull
Oh,
up a
cool.
specific time.
So
Yeah, I
like,
can see where everything was at that time. And
so like if you were married at a certain time, like you could look into the energies of the marriage, or and
yeah,
even saying, yeah, health issues. I have it show up in my chart and Steph looked into it. Laura says mine's is all financial stuff being thrown. Okay, so let's give that example, right? Say Laura
hmm
was wondering why she's got all this financial stuff coming up for her. You could then go and look at that chart, and then if say it gives her like explanations of why that is, does it also help her kind of move through? Does it also help her move through that energy? Like, does it give her um I don't know, support to be able to like, oh well, that's actually, maybe show the lesson, for example, or the
yeah.
opportunity, right? So it can maybe show the opportunity so that cycle could be closed out and not have to be looked at again.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are certain aspects of our chart, that do influence our abundance, our finances, and it is opportunities. These are things that we do sign up to learn, and so the intention with the chart is to give you more clarity to those specific challenges, and of course I bring through any coaching and guidance that I receive to support you, and it just gives everybody a really big picture to
Yeah.
a nice blueprint to look at and say, oh, okay, this is what I signed up to do. Okay, I get it now. And it's all interconnected.
Right.
It's beautiful.
Love that. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, Stephanie. Oh,
Thank you.
Carrie's here. Hello, Carrie.
Hello.
So thank you all for being here. Thank you everybody in the live chat as well for being here, and anybody who comes in later on. If you've got any questions, you can always pop them in the details below. Steph, you'll maybe just come back and forth in case anybody's got any questions there, or if I see anything, I'll pass it to you in case anybody's got anything they want to in the comments. I'm gonna do a little personal ask. There are things happening. My channel wasn't active last year, and that was, I didn't feel that I wanted to be active. This year I feel that people are going to need more support. Community's really important this year as well. That communication was coming through with that planets, but community is really important. So I'm going to be in here. Oh, Nick saying, Dora, hello, Elaine, hi. So, I do feel I'm going to have a much more active presence on here this year. And I know and I trust, whoever needs to hear what they need to hear, they get to hear. But I would also like people to have that opportunity, because even the people within my Patreon, like I've asked them, did they get notifications? And they haven't, and they've got notification bells on, and some people are being notified for something and they're not being notified for other things. And some people have had no notifications whatsoever. So what really helps with that is that liking the video. Okay, I know it sounds silly, but even if you like unsubscribe and then resubscribe, and then make sure that your alert bells are on for all, and share it, share it. It's not anything that I've really bothered with before, but I really feel not mad about that, Joanne. No. um and as I say, like I've had 10 subscribers unsubscribing every Friday at the same time for 2 years. So there's the things, and I don't, and one of the big reasons is I don't have ads on the channel. Like if I had adverts here, it would be pushed because YouTube make money. But I'm not really interested in making money off people. So there's that. So if you guys can help me so that I don't have to then go down the line of looking at putting ads on here, because it's just annoying if you're watching something like a conversation list, and then there's 5 ads pop up through it. Like it just annoys me. I don't see why I should have to pay a subscription to not have ads in a video that I'm choosing to watch. Read. Anyway, so if you have made it to the end of this video, you've obviously enjoyed your time here. So can I ask you just to put a little thumb up, because there's none on my screen right now. And if you could just do the things to share and letting people know, if you feel this information is going to help them, that's all it's about. Like I'm here to assist. That's all I've ever done, is been here to share my journey. And I know that it's helped people because I get it in the comments all the time that it's helped people. But I want to help more people. That there are more people. If we are going through this, another one and another one and another one, if we've got all these kind of great awakenings that we're going through this year, it's important to me that I pull in the people that I have in my life that can support, like Stephanie, right? So this year for me and this channel is going to be about me pulling in the people that I know that's in my life that can support you, support me, moving through the things that we're moving through. That's really what this is about. This is what community is. So if I have somebody within my my circle of friendship, familyhood, Anam Cara, whatever that is, and I feel there's something they can come in and they can support with, like, I'm calling them in this year. So it's funny. So Christine can see 30 thumbs up and Laura can see 35. Yeah, that would just make up. Anyway, so I'm just gonna, I'm gonna put it out there that more and more people are gonna get to the information that they need, and it's not going to be hidden from them. So thank you for all your support, everybody who's watching here, because this is about us supporting all of us, right? I'm really, really, really passionate about that, as you can see by the time that I forgot to kind of breathe and remind myself to actually put a breath in there while I was talking.
And Joanne, you have beautiful spaces, for anybody who's here who hasn't met Joanne before or been in her spaces. Oh my gosh, yeah, definitely check out her Patreon. And
yeah. I mean,
we have a beautiful community.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful community, and we all support each other. That's really, really, really what it's about. And I wouldn't have really had this. I wouldn't have had this connection with Stephanie if Stephanie hadn't come into Patreon, and then been on the dragon journey, and I wouldn't have been able to bring Stephanie here to to share her stuff, because I wouldn't have known she existed. So that's why it's really important, and the more people that we have within our community, how much have we put, like, I've really, I could go on and on, but I've really realized how much I've pulled myself away from particularly like community with real touchy people that are in different spaces than I'm in. And, I'm really being pushed to kind of put myself back into that kind of community as well, because there are things I can help people that don't have the same belief systems as me. So I really feel this is what this year is about as well. It's, during the worst of times, the best of people come together. And I'm not manifesting the worst of times for anybody. I believe for us, it's only better and better and better. But for the people that it isn't better and better and better, they need to know that they can be better and better and better. And how can they know that if they can't see the people who have done it, who have done the work, who have got to the other side, and that are in the spaces of better and better and better. So Laura says, do a show with Emma Hughes sometimes, Joanne. She doesn't want to. Laura, I'm just letting you know. I mean, she can speak for
I
herself.
love that idea.
She can speak for
Just
herself.
gonna put my 2 cents.
Christine says, Emma, this Earth inhabitant is not coming out yet. There's 8 inches of snow there. Laura, oh, my pink dragon head, Anya, has now got one blue eye and one lilac eye. Oh, she's evolving too. I love that. I
Ooh.
told you, Emma says, Laura, my beautiful, the world doesn't need to see or hear me. I love you. Okay, everybody, we're gonna go. Stephanie, thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody in here. I'm gonna do this thing where I don't know how to hang up now. So just like give me a little minute, beautiful family. Thank you to all the mods on as well, and that have been in, and everybody that's been commenting. We love you.
Love you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Joanne.